Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Cody. Cody is from Chicago, but he lives in Houston, in Texas, in the USA. So let's see what Cody has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, Cody. I'm very well. How are you doing today?
Good, thank you.
So how's your morning going so far?
It's not bad. I'm off on Tuesdays every week, so today's are just my do nothing day.
Thank you so much for taking the time on your off day for the interview. Thank you.
Sure.
So tell me, where are you from, Cody?
Originally from Chicago, Illinois, but I currently live in Houston, Texas.
So tell me why the move from one city to another.
So I was born and raised in Chicago. I had a partner there. We were together for about 6 years in total, and his job required us to move, so we came down here. We're no longer together. It's been about a year since I've been separated, but it's so much nicer down here than it is up there. Being someone who grew up in the Midwest and like grew up in the cold, like it's sunshine right now. It's probably like 65 degrees outside. They're getting like a foot of snow back home on Christmas Eve, so I had a lot of reason to stay.
And all your family are back in Chicago?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I see. Besides the weather, what's the biggest difference between Chicago and Houston?
They move so slow down here. They move at such a like comfortable pace. I see it as comfortable now. In the beginning, I saw it as like, you people move so slow. Because back in Chicago, like we had to be there yesterday. So like we're walking and behaving like we had to be there yesterday. But down here, like they just take their time to do everything. And it's actually really nice. Like I don't feel rushed anymore. I actually now hate being rushed to do anything because no one rushes you to do anything down here.
Oh, wow.
It's great.
And do you see yourself living there for a long while?
For the time being, yeah. My goal for 2023 is to go into the year without expectations rather than make like a, what do they call them? A resolution, because no one ever sticks to their resolutions, but it can be pretty easy to like ignore expectation. So we'll see what happens. For now, yeah.
I quite like your point of view, actually. During this time of the year, we tend to make plans or to set goals, and sometimes we put too much pressure on our shoulders and, it gets disappointed or things get changed. So I like that, actually. Sometimes you just need to kind of give yourself, the chance to happen whatever is going to come. I think sometimes it's a good point as well. I would think about that, actually, at the beginning of the year, for sure. I like to just give an idea now. And what do you do for a living, Cody?
I am a skincare and hair care specialist for a really big department store in Houston. I've worked for the same company for like 5 or 6 years now. I transferred with them back in Chicago. I used to do makeup professionally, and then I moved out of that, and now I focus more on hair and skin. It's a lot more fun.
That's why
I feel like I have more creative freedom.
That's why you have this beautiful shiny skin?
Yes. Mm-hmm. It took me a long time to get this. It took a long time to get my skin to look like this, but that's another perk of living down here, because there's so much humidity that no one ages. People come into my work at 75, 80 years old, and I swear they could pass as 60 in Chicago.
Wow, interesting. Wow. So before we start our journey, William the Magic Box, I would like you to tell me something interesting about yourself.
I have a twin. Spanish was my first language, but I don't know how to speak it anymore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I feel like that's probably one of the more interesting things about me. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like I don't know. I've always hated that. To be honest with you, I've always hated that question because I feel like there's so many interesting things about me. I just don't know how to say them when I'm put on the spot for it.
Okay, so
it's like you forget about yourself for a minute.
Right. So as I put you on the spot now, so tell a little bit why your first language is Spanish. Tell me what the background.
So I grew up in a west suburb of Chicago for a few years of my life in the beginning. My parents weren't together, so I lived with my grandma and grandpa and my mom, and then it was me and my twin sister. And everyone in the neighborhood that we lived in was like majority of people were from all over the place, but the big population that they had there was a large Latino and Latina population. So everyone on the street spoke Spanish. And so when my parents and grandparents would go to work, they would leave us with the babysitter next door, but she babysat all the kids on the block. So every kid spoke Spanish. So that's all she spoke to us. And so we were at that age where our brains were so moldable that we just continued to only speak Spanish. And then one day my mom had to come to her to be like, hey, the love the like bilingual training we're giving the kids, but like I can't understand them when they talk to me anymore. So let's try to not do it as much. Yeah, so my mom, we lost the ability to like talk to her, to communicate. She would talk to us in English and we would just respond right back in Spanish, but she had no idea what we were saying.
Oh my God, that's so interesting. My goodness. I think your mom, she was very lucky. She was paying an English, Spanish teacher and also a babysitter at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. We got a double whammy. I took it again when I was in high school and
Right.
got really, really good at it, and then never used it after school. And so now I live in Texas where it's like kind of important to have.
Do you remember any word, some word that you remember that you could, as a child, or something?
Oh, like people will talk Spanish to me at work all the time, and like I'll basically just get the gist of what they're saying and be like, all right, cool. Like I don't know how to respond to them immediately or right away or even know what to say, but like I know what they're asking me to do.
It's amazing.
But it's
Very,
cool. It's a very diverse city down here.
very good. Are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of
Sure.
view? Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So this is my best friend, okay? Run the fun questions. I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to move a little bit before the first question. Let's do it. Hey, Cody, before we start the game, during the journey, if there is a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Okay.
First question for you is, what do you think people need to know about each other before they start a relationship?
How does one treat other people when they're out in public? Because someone can be so cute and nice to you behind closed doors and treat you like they're the world, but they berate the waiter when he got the drink order wrong. Or they're rude to the checkout clerk because they're not moving fast enough. Like those things are insanely important to me. Same with pretentiousness. See if they're a pretentious person. Like that's a character flaw, I feel you cannot teach out of somebody. Like they will just always be that way. Like people who think they're better will just always think that they're better. And I feel like those are the types of things that you have to seriously pay attention to before you really get in a relationship with someone, because you're going to show vulnerability. And if someone is so mean to a waiter for messing up a drink order, like what are they going to do when you like are in a moment of weakness? So yeah, I feel like that's the most important.
Wow, and the way you say, the way you explain it, you are very confident about. I'm sure you know exactly what you are talking about. As you are single right now, people, if they would like to go on a date with you, what's something that they must have?
Just an open mind. I just like someone who has an open mind, and not just an open mind of like, how do you feel about other people, but like, hey, let's go bar hopping, or like, let's go do this. Like an open mind around everything, not just like their own political or personal opinion.
All right.
Because I feel like I don't care really what you do for a living. I mean, as long as you do whatever you do is legal and it's not going to get me in trouble for being around you, like I don't really care what you do for a living. I don't care what kind of car you drive. Like those things don't really matter to me.
Very good. Next one. Let's do it. Next question is, what scares you the most about your future?
I don't really know, because I try to not. I guess what really scares me about the future is finishing life alone. I guess that's the biggest fear, but I try not to think about the future too much, because I mean, we don't ever know what's going to happen. 2022 like changed my life so much in so many different ways, and it was literally all at the snap of a finger. Stuff that you
Mhm.
could have never planned or like never seen coming. So when you just consistently like put your future at the forefront, like you're completely losing out on what's happening right now.
As you just mentioned that you faced a lot of challenges this year, yeah, 2022. Um, if you could erase those events in your life during this year, would you keep it or would you take it out to have the superpower?
Like if I could forget about them, or I
Yeah,
could make it like
like
they never happened.
yeah, never have completely forget about them. I mean, if you could take these events in your life during this year.
Mm, no, I don't think so, because I learned so much of what I'm truly capable of.
Mhm.
And I don't think that would have been possible for me to do without having like experienced what I experienced.
Okay, next one, let's do it. Okay, before the next question, tell me what you like the most about your job. And also, there's always a challenging part, what that would be.
I like talking to people all day. I like working with people all day. I like selling things to people all day. Like I like the energy that it has. And I guess the more challenging side of all of that is having to like turn all of that off. Sometimes people don't understand, like, especially when you do a job that revolves solely around just dealing with people constantly. When you come home from dealing with people, it's hard to just like continue to want to like I don't want to go out sometimes. Like I don't want to talk to anybody sometimes. I spend all day talking. Sometimes I want to come home and not talk. And like that's kind of a downside to it sometimes. Because like
And
I'm not boring, I'm not tired, I'm not uninterested. I'm just like I need to be at a chew for a minute.
and tell me a little bit about the transition as a makeup artist to the skincare, especially that you're working right now. It's all connected, or just it's a
Yeah.
different world?
No, it's very connected. I mean, it's a completely two different worlds, but two very connected worlds. Like one can't really survive without the other.
Mm,
One isn't necessarily more important than the other either. In my opinion, skincare is more important than makeup, but if you ask someone who does makeup for a living, they'll tell you makeup is more important than skincare.
I
So
see.
it's a back and forth, but really like one cannot exist without the other.
I see. All right. Next question is, what is your favorite place in the entire world and why?
Probably when I went to Paris, because I'd always wanted to go my whole life and I actually got to go. And I had so much fun and I lived my best life. Like I felt like the freest I have ever felt in a long time. Like it was a crazy feeling to actually like see the things that like I had only ever seen in books and TV, and like actually be able to experience them in my life. Because you meet so many people who have never even left like the US. Like I meet in the US and it's crazy.
Tell me your trip to Paris. Tell me what was the first thing that you felt like, okay, I am in Paris. There was like you saw something or something happen or the language. Tell me something. I'm here.
Everybody was sitting on the sidewalks, just like, but they weren't facing each other. They were facing the street. And like, that was something that was completely new to me because that's not how you do it over here. We face each other at the table. And just seeing all of that, all of these people shoulder to shoulder, smoking cigarettes, eating their food, drinking their wine. And I was just like, we are really not in the US anymore. Oh my God. Like, and so the first thing that we did was we went to a cafe, we got a bottle of wine, and I sat down and I smoked a French cigarette, and it was amazing.
Wow, that's
And I was like,
great.
this is the life.
Next one, let's do it, Cody. Next question for you is, when you were a child, did you have imaginary friends and what was their name?
I did, according to my mom, but I don't remember what their name was, and I don't remember what they were. She does, but yeah, she just talks about how me and my sister each had our own. And she's like, you would talk to them all the time. She's like, I would hear you in the house just blabbing to something and nothing would be there. And she's like, I would just leave you there. Like, she's like, you seemed occupied. So
How
yeah,
was
I definitely did.
How was growing up as a gay boy back in Chicago?
Thankfully, the Midwest and the US is very like progressive. And I was
Mhm.
fortunate enough to grow up somewhere that is probably the most progressive place in the Midwest. Like the city of Chicago is like they're the most liberal city. I would 100% say in like that entire like time zone. Um, but it was still a really new thing. Like people weren't accepting about it yet. Like I was out of high school when gay marriage got legalized in 2013. Like I had graduated the year prior. Like I had been out since 2010. And even then it still wasn't cool. Like I had my friends, like I definitely had people, but you spend like so much time wanting to be accepted. And then when you finally don't care about being accepted anymore, it does affect you in like negative ways as well. Like no one ever really like, they talk about the fact that, yeah, like sometimes kids drive themselves to suicide. Like sometimes kids like run away, but like sometimes kids become like the cool popular kid from amongst all of the mean kids that made fun of them in high school once they graduate and become this new person. And then like that leads you down a completely different road too. Like, but I would say growing up gay as a kid in the Midwest was like not nearly as bad as some of the things I've heard other people tell me.
And
And my parents are super cool. So
when you think about Chicago right now, what do you miss the most about the city?
the height of everything, the like how compact everything was. In Houston, you have to like drive to go do things. In Chicago, I just had to go downstairs, walk a couple blocks to a train and jump on it, go underground and be in a new neighborhood. Like it was easy, so easy. Like transportation, it was just effortless. But now, like, ugh, I miss that a lot because they don't have that down here.
So mainly you need to have a car to locate yourself around the city in Houston.
Yeah, you basically have to. That
See?
and like, yeah, they don't really have much of a public transit concept.
See? All right. Next one. Let's do it, Cody. Next question for you is, right, this one you already talked in the beginning, tell something interesting about yourself. So this one I'm going to skip. Okay, next question for you is, who has been the most influential person in your life and why?
I would probably say my sister, definitely, which is crazy because we're twins. But she she has two kids now. She has her own house. She has all of these things. Like she's got a whole family building. And when I think about it, like 5-6 years ago, like that is not like who she was. Like that's not who we were. Such different people. And so like now I see her and I'm just like, that's so crazy that you can like do all of these things, which has helped me realize that I can do a lot myself too. Be like, your sister does this like with two kids under her belt. Like you could probably do this.
She's back in Chicago?
Yeah.
What's the biggest similarity between both and what's the biggest difference?
We both have a lot of patience and I'm much more fancy and she is much more down to earth.
Always been?
Yeah, always been like that.
And who's the one who was born first?
She was.
It was the first one. Interesting. Ready for another question?
Yep.
Let's do it. Next one. But before the next question, I think nowadays, skincare, I think men, yeah, they are much more into it. You can see, this business, a lot of men, like they literally, not just gay guys, but straight guys as well, they are literally looking after their skin much more than ever. So for you, Houston, your work, do you see that growing? The most of your clients, they are men or women?
Well, I mean, majority of my clients, like 90% of my clients are women. But I do have some male clients. I just helped a guy yesterday pick like concealer out because he like came in with dark circles and he was like, I don't really like these. What can I use that's not obvious? And so like I help guys with makeup sometimes too. I help guys with skincare. They're easy.
I see. And I just could see some tattoos in your hands. Tell me a little bit about it.
Oh yeah, I have a few tattoos
Ah,
all over
okay.
me.
All right.
I just got them because I don't know. My friend and I were just bored one day, and he was like, "If you get a tattoo, he's like, if you get tattoos on your hand, he's like, it will make you feel so like he's like, it'll make you feel so like hot." And I was just like, okay, whatever. And so we went and got tattoos, and I was just like, oh my god, I do feel amazing. Like I don't know, something about having looking down at my hand and saying like, oh, my tattoos, and like tattoos all over my arm. My sister has a bunch more than me though. She has a lot.
Wow. Okay. Next question is, what was your best friend's name growing up? And why did you consider this person as your best friend at the time?
I think my best friend in the beginning growing up, his name was Christian. We lived in the same neighborhood. He had like the cool house, like he had the big cool house that everyone hung out at. He lived in the front of the neighborhood. And I don't know, we had classes together. We were always interested in the same things. We sort of disconnected as we got older, but like later caught up in our mid 20s, which was cool.
See. Still in touch?
Not so much anymore. There's a lot of people that I'm not super in touch with anymore just because I don't live in Chicago anymore.
Right. 3 questions left for you. Let's do it. Next question is, what makes you most uncomfortable about dating?
Being too independent sometimes. Because I used to be fiercely independent before I met my partner. We were together for a long time. Feel like I lost a lot of my independence. Then became single again and regained it back like 3 times fold. And so now sometimes I worry, like, when I date someone, if I'm with someone, just like, I don't ask what to do. Like, I don't let people tell me what to do. None of that. Like, if I don't want to do something, I won't spend 5 minutes doing something that I don't feel like doing or something that makes me uncomfortable. And so I feel like that could sometimes get in my own way of making it seem as though I don't care. Even though I do care very much, I just also care a lot about me.
Tell me, how is the dating word in Houston? Is easy to date, or they have this concept of it is like the guys they are looking for the next one? Do you know what I mean?
A lot of people down here seem more interested in like monogamous relationships than they did in Chicago. People in Chicago just, it's very like hookup culture, which a lot of places are like that. But yeah, it's very like the dating scene's a lot different down here. Everyone's really interested in a relationship. The people are much nicer. It's a much smaller range though. Everyone kind of just like, there's a large variety, but it is very different.
In the gay scene, there's like different bars, different clubs people can hang out.
They're a lot different from Chicago. Like, it was an adjustment going from Chicago bars to like these bars and just being like, oh my goodness, like they don't dance in Houston really. Like, they don't really dance at the bars. In Chicago, you dance at every bar. Like, every gay bar is a dance bar. And down here, it's not so much. So that was weird.
Interesting fact. 2 questions left. Let's do it, Cody. Before the next one, tell me, through your career, tell me one of your clients that, their feedback or their reaction of something that you did to them was like one of the best that you're never going to forget.
I have people tell me a lot that like I just made them feel really comfortable with like their own skin, basically, like made them feel comfortable with themselves, because I sell a lot of different things. I sell everything from like a $12 face wash all the way up to $795, like $990 serums that like I have sold to people. Like, people do buy those, but like it's my like forwardness as well. Like, I'm not going to try to like sell you something you don't need. Like, I'll always tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And like, that's how you build like a relationship with a client. That's how you get client loyalty. And I just have clients will always come back to me all the time and just be like, I remember you so much, you changed X, Y, and Z with me. And then like they shop with me for years.
Oh,
And so
wow.
I guess I can't really find a specific client situation because so many, like I have so many, like like I'm
Amazing.
very good with like the people that like I work for.
Great. Next question is, what bad habits you wish you could stop?
Ooh, smoking. I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. I vape. That's really big down here too. Really big in the US in general. And it's way back. I smoked cigarettes for many years of my life, like a solid like 7 years. And then stopped, started vaping, which is just trading one evil for another one. They're no different from each other. So that's a habit I wish I could stop. I need to
What?
stop. Not I wish. I can stop. I can stop. I just need to stop.
What's the difference between both? What's the why the
I mean,
vape and
like vape is like electronic.
yeah?
A vape is yeah. So like electronic cigarette, but a cigarette is like tobacco. So like tobacco, smoke, tar. Like it's a lot worse for you. It'll make you much sicker than like a vape would make you. But some people have the opposite reaction. Some people get really sick off of vapes. I don't know. I just need to not do it anymore. Like that just needs to be the case.
I see. Ready for the last one?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Last question. But before the last question, people watch the interview. They would like to look better of their skin care. What would be your tips that for them to have a better skin, a better care? What that would be?
Wash your face twice a day and wear sunscreen every day. Even if it's cloudy, wear sunscreen. That is the easiest thing you could ever do to change your skin, is just wear sunscreen.
Even though in the winter time or
Yes,
no?
always. You should just always wear it. Anytime you're outside in the sun, you should always wear it because regardless of what season it is, regardless of what the temperature is, like the things that age you the fastest are the things that we eat and the environment. Like that will age you faster than anything else will.
Right.
So like the
Let's,
things we eat and stuff like that. So yeah. Just
no,
wash your face, wear some sunscreen.
when you say wash your face, like literally just washing properly with some
Soap and
like
water. Just put some soap and water and some moisturizer on. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Some people can use bar soap. I don't necessarily always condone that. It's not the best thing for your skin, but it's 100% better than doing nothing.
make a note of that to start doing that. Okay. Last question for you is, how do you make friends?
I say yes to a lot of things. Like I've learned to, like when you get the invite from a coworker to go do something, say yes. When you meet someone at a bar and they say, hey, we're going to go do this, like say yes. As long as you feel comfortable, of course. As long as you feel safe and comfortable doing that, you should just say yes. Like you have nothing to lose by saying yes. And so that's how I make friends. That's how I've made a lot of my friends. It's just like I'll get invited to something and I'm like, yeah, I'll go. Sure.
Wow. Good friend, always ready for it.
Always.
Right, on the end yet, let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some words and just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking.
So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game.
Thinking. One word for life.
Death.
How about sex?
Love.
Family?
Needed.
One word for love.
Compassion.
Politics.
Gross.
Religion.
Unimportant.
Fear.
Likely.
Friendship.
Partnership.
Desire.
Need.
Regret.
Sorrow.
Success.
Failure.
One word for wish.
Dream.
Happiness.
Glad.
One word for Chicago.
Cold.
One word for Houston.
Hot.
I knew you'd say that for some reason. I knew it.
It is.
USA, one word.
Too big.
And the last one now, skincare specialist, one word.
Genius.
Amazing. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your lovely sister for a coffee, and I'm going to ask her, what is the most beautiful thing about Cody, and what's something that he still needs to work on, to improve on? What she would say?
She would probably say the most beautiful thing about me is my understanding. Like, I just, like, I listen to whatever. Like, I don't judge anybody. And I feel like the thing she'd say I would have to work on is a little more compassion in situations, because I don't have kids, I don't have a family, I don't have a lot of the things that my family has back home. So when they talk about certain problems, I'm like, can't relate. Like, so I should probably have a little more compassion sometimes.
Do you see some work in progress?
Yes.
Amazing. Let's play now, Cody, and the magic box, and you can ask me a question. Okay, you can ask me a question now.
Of all of the interviews you've ever done for people, what is the one that stands out the most to you?
That's a very difficult and hard question, because people, when they ask me which one is your favorite interview, I always say it's the last one I've done. So literally right now, this is my favorite one, and I'll tell you why. You know, people, they are so different. You know, they share so much special things about their lives. Things that people appreciate. It's so hard, because every interview I do, I always learn something new from me, and it's so interesting. Like, talking to you about skincare, I was literally picturing myself washing my face now twice a day, because I just said that. There's always something that it's really hard. But I'm going to say something now that's actually literally just came to my mind now. Last year, or the year before, I think, I'm not sure now, it's going to be 2 years that the show is on, and I invite random people online the same way as I invited you, yeah? And I invited one person in Australia, and this person replied to me nicely, said, "Oh, I'd love to be part of the show, but I'm deaf." And I wasn't expecting that, and I wasn't ready for, for this answer, for this event, or how, and I kind of said, "Oh, okay, so let's see what we can do about that." And this person, that's okay, let's do it. And he literally got someone who was behind, the camera, and this person, I was like, translate to him, was translate for both of us, so I could hear what he was saying. And it was amazing, and I loved it, because that's something that I was expecting. I didn't think about that. And it was so easy to contact with him. Like, straight away, he organized everything, and in 1 week or 3-4 days, we were doing the interview. And I found so special, because it's something that's I didn't think about it, but I'm saying that because, it just came to my mind now, Cody, but I must tell you, if I would go through every interview, I would write like 10 books, with different experience I had. Because, oh my God, every interview, they are different. It can come up the same question, but they have different answers, different point of views, and that's what makes it interesting as well. So yeah, it's hard, but just this one just came up to my mind now, because it was something that when I didn't think about, and we made it happen. And nowadays, when I invite people online, and when they say, "Oh, I'm deaf for some reason," and I straight away I have something to say, and I'm prepared to deal with this situation. So yeah, I would say that for sure.
That's really cool.
Did you enjoy the interview?
Yeah, that was fun. Not what I expected. That was cool.
Thank you so much for being kind and sweet, and for taking the time now on your day off. Beautiful, very sweet. And before you go, if you can share a positive message, something that you live by.
Life is a lot better if you just live it.
Wow, simple as that. I love that.
Yeah.
Enjoy your day off, okay? And keep in touch. It was a pleasure having you on the show, okay, Cody? Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why do you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.